Okay, so welcome everybody to the special town board meeting of February 28th, 2022. Rosanna on a roll call.
Okay, Councilman Tom Divany.
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Batari.
No, I think we have to unmute him. He's on the phone.
Hold on, we may have to unmute him. Where is he? Here.
Councilman Jerry Batari.
On here.
Here.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Councilman Brian Donahue.
Present.
Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone doesn't answer the flag, but there we go. There you go. Okay. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we just really have the one town board agenda item. I guess I'll just give my, couple of thoughts about it, and then I guess we are going to allow public comment, so bear with us. So basically, I think anyone who's been in this town hall recently has seen that it has far exceeded its useful life. When it rains or it's ice, we get leaks, and just I took video from this past ice storm where we had 5 garbage bins in the foyerway, 1 in the courtroom, and 2 by the vending machine with leaks coming in. That was just up here. So it's a matter of time before the roof's gonna have to be replaced. Last year we had to have the front stairs to the building shored up with temporary structures because both Jane and Amy thought that they were unsafe for walking in. So they had to build temporary supports. We have the real likelihood of there being asbestos, mold, lead in the building. And as someone who's been coming here for 25 years, it's long overdue. And to be truthful, it's just not fair to the employees that work in this building to not do anything. It's just not an option that we have, not a luxury that we have. And we're just continuing to throw, good money after bad. Even just the utility bills with these drafty windows and things. But I really want to commend the former town supervisor, Chris Day, for taking this on, because so many supervisors came in and it was just not the politically expedient thing to do. So they didn't do it. So I give Chris Day and the town board, a lot of credit for stepping up and saying something had to be done. So, I was not on the board, but I know the board, went out, they took extensive looks at 3 different options, whether it was basically knocking down a building here, moving the whole town board to another place. They looked at 3 different options and came up with the final as to be a most cost-effective measure, which is basically to rebuild the old section on town hall property over in the parking lot. So basically this town board authorized the plans to be drawn up and authorized going out to bid. And, honestly, every step of the way, we kind of said we were going to wait and see what the bids came back at because, in light of this environment, we thought it may be just way too out of our reach. But when the bids came back, we were, I'm not going to say happy, but we were, it fell within the price range that we had been kind of looking at all along. So, it's not like this is, being sprung on anybody. The plans for the town hall have been out in the foyerway for I don't know, 6 months, if not longer. So anyway, I know there's people who, and I'm one of them, who don't want to see our taxes go up, who don't want to spend money. But what I say is that, doing nothing is not an option. So if someone says, I don't think you should do it, okay, the next question is, so what do you think we should do? Because it's a matter of time before this building is unsafe. All of our experts have said that, from our department heads, that this building is really really not ready to be habitable much longer. So that's what I have to say. I don't know if anybody else on the town board wants to ask questions. We have Jeff, we have Magrino here. If they want to ask specific questions, I met with them this afternoon. I've looked at the numbers. I'm good with my decision, but And this is town board members I'm talking about at the moment.
Yeah, Teresa, I guess I can back up what was just saying or supported that. I was in the police department 30 years ago, and I changed on top of wood pallets in the basement as water came in the walls. So I agree. I think it's long overdue for something to be done, and if it's not this, then I don't know what.
Paul, anybody?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry, my phone shut off on me. I had to recharge it. I've been through the town hall several times with Eric and with the maintenance guys. It's in desperate need of replacement, not even repair. It's beyond repair at this point. And it's almost embarrassing that a great town like ours has that town hall. So I'm in full support.
And just, I mean, to the extent anybody, just to the extent anyone's like, why we're doing it at a special town board meeting, you know, that there's a timeline, and it has to do with the fact that this approval will be subject to a permissive referendum. And so before we can kind of award the bid, and they only have to hold the bid for so long, we're not doing this on a Monday night for no reason. It's just we were under kind of a tight window for getting it approved. So, go ahead, Brian.
Teresa, sorry, I've been having some technology issues. So I spoke to several people before this meeting, and I know you and I touched upon it a while back. You know, you've shown me pictures of you know, rainstorms and stuff like that. My opinion is I'm completely on board, because I think the liability could bankrupt this town. God forbid that building should collapse or whatever, or anything like along those lines. So I am on board, and then it's a huge liability for us. So you know, we could talk about specifics offline, but I'm on board.
Okay. Anybody else? Otherwise, I guess we can go to open a public comment, and I'm just going to ask you to bear with us on this, because this is our first time using Zoom in public comment. So can I get, what's that?
In a while.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, but we didn't use Zoom. We had that other thing the last time. Okay, so I guess we need to get, yeah.
Before you go to that, can I also add that it's a consolidation, because the building department is down the hill, so it'll make things a little bit more efficient, and the town will no longer be taking care of the other building that's also falling apart.
Right, another one that needs to be taken.
Right, which we just had our water heater just went in that building, and the boiler went 2 years ago. So it's time for us to move up to town hall.
Yes, we look forward to having you up there with us. So.
Just to add, though, we're still going to have to take care of that building, because the library's down there, unless we're evicting them right now. So I think that is not entirely correct.
Well, I don't know that we talked about deeding it to them and letting them take it over. So that's, you know, if we don't have a use for it, there's no sense to Orangetown maintaining it. So I know that was one of the conversations that Chris Day had with them about.
I didn't mean to speak out of line, but it won't be in my budget lines anymore. If I
won't be mine either.
Until we don't own it, it's going to be in a town budget line.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, there's options there. I know there's something in the deed restriction about if we don't use it and go back to the school district or something. So there's something to be done with that. But anyway, okay. So I guess, can we get a motion to open the public comment portion?
I'll make a motion, Teresa.
Brian, can I get a second?
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so bear with me. If anybody wants to speak, if you could, I try raising, you raise your hand if you're on the computer, or I'm told it's *9 if you're on your phone.
Teresa.
Yeah.
If I have additional questions for Jeff, is it better to take them offline, or would you prefer?
No, I mean, it's totally up to you. If you want to know the answers before you're going to vote, by all means, you should ask them.
Hey Jeff, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Not bad. I know we had a couple of conversations. My whole thing is with the capital raise. I know the Fed is due to raise interest rates next month. But I'm curious to see what the access to capital is going to be in 2 years from now. So my question is, I'm guessing
there's asbestos issues with the building, and I can foresee a lot of additional costs that might not be in our control. What can we, or what's your suggestion? Well, my suggestion is to borrow more money. We could always pay it back. I mean, we're at an all-time low still on interest rates. In 2 years from now, who knows where it's going to be? It's probably going to be a lot higher. And I know in 6 months, it's going to be a lot higher. So is there, I mean, am I out of line by saying maybe we do 25 million instead of 22 for unseen costs? And this way we preserve our capital and our cash flow.
Okay, let me answer that question first by explaining what is in the 22.5 million that is proposed here. The low four bidders for the four primes total 20.6 million. And then there's an estimate of the in between, which we haven't bid out yet, the demolition of the old building once it's done, of 1 to 1.5 million. So that's in there. And then also construction manager at 1 to 2% of the total cost, which gets you to the 22.5 million. We really can't bond for stuff that we can't reasonably expect. So to bond for 25 million or 27 million, in the case of contingencies, you can do a little bit of that. There's $600,000 in contingencies built into the bond, or not the bond, the bidding process. So that's sort of the limit of where we're at in terms of that. So if 2 or 3 years down the road, we realize that it's significantly higher because the abatement costs are much greater than what our rough estimate is now, then we'd either have to take that out of fund balance, or we would have to issue a new bond at that point. But yes, you're subject to interest rates being higher 2 years from now than they are now, but you really can't bond for something where you don't really have a good structure on what the costs are.
There's no loopholes for that, because I'm concerned that we're going to preserve or have to dig into our cash flow.
Yeah, no, we really can't do that. The SEC is overlooking all of our bond issues, and that you really can't do that at all. So,
just a quick additional question, Jeff. I'm guessing, and just from talking to people, we're probably going to run into some asbestos issues, and is that incorporated into the price of some of these bids? I'm sure they're well aware that there's going to be some of those issues as well.
And I think that the architects have raised their hand, if I'm looking correctly at this little hand raising. So I don't know if maybe they want to respond to this. Hold on, let me.
I'll let them respond to that.
Yes, to unmute. Did I do that right? Yeah, it's unmute. Okay. Okay. Can you guys speak now?
I don't think they're connected to sound. What's their name? Bob?
It's Bob and Brett, yeah.
I think they're also on by iPhone. I'm trying to find them.
No, it's right up there. It's top. I see it, but it looks like.
I know, but they were also on their iPhone. Can you guys? They're not muted. We can't hear you guys.
Yeah.
Mike Berta, can you talk?
They're not connected.
Okay. Mike Berta is on also.
Oh.
Yeah, Bob, I think your phone dropped off.
Bob Gabalski, your phone dropped off.
All right. I'll text him while I'm talking. But so to answer the question is some of the asbestos costs is figured into the addition. There's a minor amount, so that's already been taken care of, and it's in their budgets. And the estimate for the demolition of the town hall, the existing building, is it is figured in, but it's just an estimate at this point.
So we can run into some unforeseen costs. Is that? I mean, that's with every project, that is.
Well, yeah, exactly. In any project, especially one of this size, you are going to run into some unforeseen costs.
But
you know,
Brian, there is $600,000 built in.
well, let me,
Already.
it's only 500,000.
Oh, it's 500,000 built in already.
We had a math error earlier and we corrected that.
Okay.
Bob, I think you're good.
All right.
Bob, did you want to say something?
Sorry, we weren't paying attention to what Mike said, but if he said what I'm about to say, I apologize for being repetitive. The asbestos removal in both the 90s building and the original town hall were included in the testing that was done by Tectonic. So we know what the asbestos is in the 90s edition and the original town hall, and the cost for abatement is included in the bids for the 90s edition. When the original town hall goes out to bid, we will know the number for abating that building completely. So there won't be any guesswork. We did exhaustive testing in both buildings. So, you know, we should be covered on the asbestos abatement.
Okay. What about the costs? If they're, I mean, obviously things are swinging around a lot. We're not responsible for any cost swings if lumber should go up or anything of that nature.
That's a really good question that came up by one of the bidders. And the project was bid out as 4 separate primes following Wick's law: general construction, plumbing, electrical, and mechanical. And each of those primes submitted lump sum bids. So they're going to be held to those lump sum prices. And there have been cost swings over time throughout the pandemic. And contractors have won some and lost some. For right now, all 4 of the proposed contractors to be awarded the project have not wanted to add any stipulations to their agreement regarding potential cost increases. We checked their references, we interviewed them and checked their qualifications, and then had follow-up conversations with them to press on that, because, you know, we know that lumber and steel and light fixtures can be problematic cost-wise. And, you know, none of the 4 contractors have told us that they want anything inserted in the contract in the form of a force majeure clause to kind of cover unknowns like that. As a publicly let contract, they're entitled to submit equal substitutions, which we as the architects, with the town's involvement, will vet very carefully to make sure that they're not trying to cheap out. So they'll have the opportunity to make up losses that they might incur on one material price increase by substituting something of an equal value that might cost less for them. So, you know, they know this market and they've been living with it, as we all have, for the last 2 years. So we're confident right now that they're okay with going into lump sum agreements of this type.
Okay. That's just one of my concerns, by the way. Just everything's been all over the place, and who knows what's going to go on macroly speaking. So, okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak? They can, again, I think it's *9 or raise your hand. Okay, having no hands raised.
Teresa, real quick. What's the time frame? Have we even gotten that far as to how long from start to finish will take?
I'll let Rob answer that.
Well, I thought the question was going to be when it could start. I'll defer the architects on how long it would take. You know, assuming this were to pass and the bids were awarded, I believe the earliest we're looking for shovel in the ground would be, you know, mid to late May. If not June, but correct me if I'm wrong, Mike or Bob, in terms of that's the earliest. And you know, part of it is that I think some of the contractors are waiting on the town to, you know, give the notice to proceed and get going, and they have, you know, if they have other jobs. But Mike and or Bob or Brett, do you want to weigh in on that?
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. It's, we have it scheduled for an 18-month project, and that's what the contractors have all agreed to. So from the notice to proceed, they have 18 months to complete it. Now, it may go a little quicker, or it might take an extra month depending upon the demolition of the existing town hall. You know, what that takes. Our thought is that it can run concurrently with the renovations and the addition, as we can move people out of the town hall into the new building, and then start demoing the building as the town hall is going up. So contracts in that we need about a month for them, and then it's really up to, you know, the town bonding. But from the minute we give them the notice to proceed, it's about 18. It's an 18-month time schedule.
Yeah, so 24. Let's say 24 months for. Okay.
Sitting here from today, I would say 24 months or 22 months.
Got it.
Sitting here today.
Okay, so having no more hands up or questions, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Rich, I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second that motion.
Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No
Teresa,
no's?
just, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just making sure there's no no's. Go ahead.
Nobody opposed, right?
Right, nobody opposed, right?
Just in terms of the
closing the public portion, right?
I got confused on which resolution. Just for the record, so we're out there. The board secret was conducted. There was a resolution 2021-459 where a negative declaration was issued. You know, reviews had been done, and the architects and engineers have consulted with agencies, you know, fire department and Palisades Interstate Parkway, et cetera, as well as the internal departments. So that was completed, and the town board authorized the bids to go out at that time. Also, that was in November of 2021. So that's why we find ourselves here. So I just want to put that out there that the secret was done.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we're just going right to the only item on the agenda, right? So maybe the one item. Yeah, okay, so basically it's authorized construction of a new town hall, and for the town of Orangetown, maximum estimated cost of $22,500,000. Authorized subject to a permissive referendum, which this is the issuance of $22,500,000 bonds for the town to pay the cost thereof. Is there anything else, Rob, I need to really say that here?
No, just again, know that you mentioned the permissive referendum, and the vote will have to be on a roll call vote.
Okay, on a roll call vote. Okay, so can I get a motion on the agenda item?
I make a motion on the agenda item.
Okay, so Paul Valentine moved. Brian, you seconded?
Second.
Brian Down, you seconded. Okay, and on a roll call.
Teresa Kenny.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Still yes. Still yes.
You didn't change. Okay, good.
That a girl, Rosanna.
Councilman Tom Divany.
No.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Yes.
Councilman Jerry Batari.
Yes.
Councilman Brian Donahue.
Wow. Yeah.
I'll throw Dennis in there too.
Yes, Rosanna, thank you.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. We don't have any executive session. I don't know when that's on there. Okay, so I think just need a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion, Teresa.
Brian Donahue, make a motion. Second.
I'll second the motion.
Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and have a good night.
Thank you very much.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.